Guys, welcome back to the shed. I'm not actually in the workshop today. Going to be working on the limo, which is my 45 series Landcruiser, or the troop carrier, hence the name limo. The other day I pushed the clutch in and it went all the way to the floor. Nothing happened, and I ended up having to drive it home in gear. Started in gear and off we go. Luckily I was only out in the paddock, so I didn't have to deal with any traffic. Fun part was stopping when I got to the end of the shed. Couldn't get it out of gear, just had to turn the key off and let it chug to a halt. Not a lot of room at the back, so I had to get it pretty close, and it worked, got it in. I figured out that the slave cylinder has gone. The way I figured that out is I got underneath, Mrs. Shed pushed on the clutch pedal, oil pissed out everywhere. Slave cylinder's gone. So let's set about replacing that. I've got a new one bought it online. Could have bought it on eBay, but Online Auto Parts was the name of the place. They don't pay me anything. Anyway, let's get into that. This is the part. It comes with a nice little boot on the front, as though they're expecting it to leak. I don't know why you need a drain hole on your cylinder boot, but it's got one. You can see from the circles there, or from the drill holes, it's a precision made part. I'll probably tell you that the casting is off. The hole's in the right place, the casting was in the wrong place. But then we've got the bleed screw on the end, and that's the cap where the brake line or the clutch line plugs in. Came in a nice Bosch box, not sponsored. If you read the fine print on the front, like most stuff, made in China. Fabriqué in China, from the French, meaning made in China. It says Germany on there, because Bosch is a German company, but I bet they didn't have much to do with it. Anyway, let's get the old one off and get the new one on. That's it there. I haven't tried these spanners yet, but hopefully I've got the right ones. Not that one. Or I make a spanner set that goes from 14 to 17. There's the size line wrench, I don't have either. So we'll use my Swedish nut lathe. What I want to do is just crack this one first, because there's no swivels on this line. So I won't be able to take it off, but once I take the two mounting bolts out, I'll just be able to undo it. I'm going to crack this one while it's still bolted to the vehicle. Fun and games. Hopefully that's enough. You bugger. Have to go and get an extension. All right, there's one. Let's get that spring out of there. And leave that dangling so I don't forget where it's hooked. Maybe we'll put that little plate back on again. That's where the spring hooks onto. With the hook side closest to the spring. that just goes into the hole on the, whatever you call the thing that pushes on the clutch. Nothing fancy there. Can you see that? So the new one didn't come with this piece, so I'll just try and not get too much oil everywhere. Pop that bracket off. It should just come straight out like that. I'll get this crap cleaned up and I'll bring you back. Okay, when I look at these two together around the same way, they're identical, so I got the right one. Nice to see that the old holes aren't in the middle of the casting either. Maybe that way up. There. So all I'll do now is just clean up this rubbish, get the crap off the end. I don't know why it's got a screw thread on it, but anyway. That's the end that goes down in there. I'll just clean all the crap off. One of those bolts is a bit gungy, so I'll clean that up as well. And we'll get it back on there. If you've got working on daggy old equipment, then a wire wheel and a grinder is the best tool you can have. That looks new again now, so oops, there we go. Don't need to do much to that. I'll just leave that well enough. I'll leave that well enough alone. That's the old one. I was considering buying a new seal kit for this, but if you look in there, she's pretty buggered. That's the bit that the seal never travelled over, but I think the new one was 28 bucks or 24 bucks, something like that. So not much point in mucking around with that one. This is my little brake bleedy thing. The rubber hose goes over the top of the bleed valve. There's a line wrench. You put that over the little bleed screw, and the procedure is you get your partner or your assistant, in my case Mrs. Shed, to put a foot on the clutch pedal. As she depresses the pedal, you open the bleed valve. You watch the bubbles go past the line as the brake fluid flows by. When she gets to the bottom of the stroke of the clutch, you close the valve off, and she can let a foot off. That way you don't try and suck the brake fluid back out of here. If you keep the end of it in the brake fluid, it can't suck air back up the line in any case, so it just keeps the brake fluid, keeps the air running out of the line and not back in. That's the end of the brake, or the flexible brake line. You can see it's got a little copper washer on there. Don't lose that. That's the bit that stops it from leaking. Hopefully I don't need to replace that, but we'll find out. So there's the two holes it bolts back into. Where that's gone. Can't see a bloody thing. Where is it? There it is. We'll just screw that back on there first. I could take the other end of this flexible line off, but there's one more thing to break or leak that's not leaking now. So I'll screw that back on there. If I can get it to start. There we go. All right, just do that up finger tight. I'll clamp it up in a minute. And that goes up there like that. And that piece on the end just goes into that little divot up there, whether you can see that. I might clean the crap out of that and put another dollop of grease in there. think the mechanic must put a dollop of grease of that every time he services the car once a year. Alright, that's clean. Oh, there's a dollop of grease. So those two go in there with my spring hanger on there. That one points downwards and that just pokes in there. There's nothing holding that in there either. So those two together are just sitting there. Not sure I'm crazy about this idea. It's probably a great way to collect crap. I wonder if I can plug it. There. If it ever leaks, I can pull that little plug out and I'll know. I don't think I'll do these up as tight as they were. As they say in the classics, that ain't going no place. Let's just do that fella back up. All new from Stupid Concepts. Alright, that's nice and tight now. Next is to bleed it. Now, if I go and top up the reservoir at the top, it's probably going to gravity bleed, but let's find out. Probably enough travel from there to there. I'll just get my little bleedy hose. Sorry if you can't see much, but neither can I. Next we need to fill up the master cylinder, or the clutch master cylinder reservoir. That'll have nothing in it because it would have all run out. It's not long since I've replaced the master cylinder. Looks a bit rusty, probably been about, I don't know, 5 years or so, which is not long on the limo scale of things. So let's top that back up. Make sure you get the matching brake fluid for your vehicle. Normally it says on the cap what you need to use. Use only .3 if I can get it in the light. Yours might say something else. You can see here, use only .3 brake fluid. So we'll put some .3 brake fluid in there, fill it up to the full mark, and I'll open the bleeder down there and let's see if it'll gravity feed through there. The trick's going to be not to let it run out while I'm doing it, because if it runs out while I'm doing it, air gets sucked in there and we have to start again. Remind me to put that cap on properly. And I did replace that spring down the bottom as well. Forgot to film that. So I got my little cup there up on a bucket so my line's long enough. There it is, all ready to go with my line wrench on there. Everything else is done up tight. Let's crack that open and see if the oil runs through. Okay, push him down.
Slowly?
Yeah.
There's hardly any pressure.
That's all right, it's what's supposed to happen. Is it all the way down? Is it all the way down?
Now it is.
Okay. Back up. Is it all the way up?
Yep.
And back down. Okay, push him down.
Yep.
And back up. Okay, I'll just wait there, I'll see what's going on up here. Okay, push him down.
It's stronger now.
Good,
And then it just go very light and down.
good. And back up. And down.
Yeah.
And back up.
Yeah.
And down. I think that might do. Okay, I've just filled that back up to the top mark. You can't quite see it there, but you have to believe me, it's up to the top. Got all the air out. Everything's done up tight now. I don't think there's any other leaks. So I think we'll take it for a test drive. Awfully difficult filming under there, but hopefully you'll be able to tell that you can do this yourself. If you're not at all sure about what you're doing, take it to a mechanic and get them to do it for you. But if you're half mechanically minded, this is a fairly simple job to do. Let's give it a test drive. Call that a bit of free play. Seems to take up about there. Feels pretty normal going in and out. Put it in gear without it taking off by itself. Move backwards. forwards. I reckon we can call that fixed. Thanks for watching, guys. I know this was probably a little hard to film and you might not have got a lot out of it, but this is a job you can do yourselves, so don't be afraid to have a go. It's more dangerous if you can't stop than if you can't go. So we'll see you on the next one. I can't really see you.